So just kind of goes to show you that many people are conflicted about the existence of AIDS in Sierra Leone, for sure. So I'm here as a former trainer just to talk to you about my experience there, and I guess what it did for journalists there, what it did for me. So Sierra Leone, I don't know this or not, but it's the least, according to the UN, it's the least developed country in the world. So that's literacy, access to human rights, the life expectancy rate. But it's so beautiful and it's amazing. So I end up there, get off the plane, and I'm there to help train TV journalists at this television station in Sierra Leone. So I'll give you a story of what happens on an average day. Not an average, I'll give you a story of what happens on a specific day to me. I am sleeping after 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I get a text message from my friend who lives in the UN. The text says, "Don't go outside, there's a riot near your house." So I'm a journalist, and I'm supposed to I'm supposed to work with journalists and talk about, cover human rights issues, right? Get human rights issues in the news. And so it says, "Don't go outside my house." I was like, "Well, I'm supposed to be here." So then, 2 minutes later, I get a bang on the door from a journalist I'm working with at the TV station, Abu Bakar, who you saw, or you didn't see, but I worked with him. So he's like, "Let's get out there. We've got to cover this riot. There's a riot outside." So we go outside, and we start talking to people. The riot had stopped, basically. So we go outside, we start interviewing people on what happened during the riot. Supposedly, a taxi driver had been attacked by the police, and so then there was massive riot because of this, because they don't have, the police are attacking civilians, and so they're just completely frustrated, right? So we're interviewing people, and then everyone starts throwing stuff back on the road and scattering. So we're kind of looking around, and then we look down one road, and there's cops coming this way. We look down the other road, cops coming this way, and then my eyes start to hurt. And so then I'm thinking, oh, it's tear gas. I was like, I've never been tear gas before. So I run behind a massive coffin tree, and I hide it. And then I look out, and on the road, right in the middle of this area where all this junk is going to throw on the road, there's 6 journalists standing there. And so I see Abu Bakar out there too. So I was like, well, okay, I guess it's okay. And so these police are walking up, ragtag bunch of people with their guns. But the journalists there are just there reporting. And so in Sierra Leone, there's a freedom of the press in that certain vein, and they're fearless in that certain vein. But what we did that day is I worked out with Abu Bakar. I walked out and stood with him. We watched this happen, filmed it, and then he put all that stuff on the news. And so the big thing is that we're helping JHR get trainers, is helping get their words to the masses, right? He's understanding how to video edit. He's understanding how to shoot a camera. He's understanding how to build a scene. He's understanding how to write propaganda, that kind of thing. And so it gets it to the people in Sierra Leone so they understand their human rights. So I thought that was what I was saying. I was talking to some of my friends over there, former trainers right there. And that doesn't happen every day. That was the only ride I was in Sierra Leone at all. So there's a lot of people. The kind of issues we're dealing with are access to water, access to women's rights. Those kind of things are happening every day. But what I think it demonstrates is that these people in Sierra Leone are frustrated because no one's listening to them. A lot of people said the Sierra Leone's war from 1990 to 2001 was due to frustration, social frustration, because no one had a voice. No one was listening to them. There was no one saying this is what's going on in this country. And so I think that riot kind of demonstrated to me that people are angry. The cops, to a certain degree, obviously there's great cops, there's bad cops, but the people didn't feel that the cops were listening to them, that were protecting them. So just working with Abu Bakar and that story, that day was his first time. He completely shot his story, and he completely edited it, he completely voiced it over. And it would be great to show you that story today because, he's completely proud of that story, and it's an awesome story. It was after about 5 months of working together. And now what he's doing is he's freelancing for Associated Press Television. And he's getting images like that out to the world. And you know what, he's not just doing like shock journalism. He's not saying, okay, there's a riot here, there's a war here. He's doing a story on corruption now. So he's like really saying, this is what my country's like, this is the beautiful parts of my country, and this is what's going on, you know, this is the things that we need to change about this country. So that was a big experience of mine, and I had a lot of fun in Sierra Leone. I learned a lot for sure, and I made like some amazing friends. So yeah, I think JHR is, the way JHR works as far as putting one person in a media house is really powerful. And I've seen, you know, there's other NGOs, you know, who maybe create programs, which, you know, that's the one way to go about it. My experience is working one-on-one with journalists in existing media houses that are sustainable, that are working even before we go there. And I think that's really powerful. I think that that's a very simple way to kind of help a nation. And so, yeah, that's what I have to say about JHR. So thank you for all coming here, and thanks for Bill for putting it on, and thanks for former trainers for showing up.